Hey guys, so I am back with another video today, and this video is going to be something that is coming from a very personal place in my life, and I guess I'm kind of making this video in the hopes that maybe I can help some of you who might be going through something similar. I guess I'll start off by saying about 3 weeks ago, my father passed away, and that's where, this whole video came from. My father and I, long story short, if you guys would like to see a video on that, I can make it. But my father and I were estranged for a number of years, and then I received a phone call that he was in the hospital and he ended up passing away. And I was so grateful, so grateful for the closure that I had, and getting to say goodbye to him and getting to be with him, before he went. And I wanted to make this video in dealing with grief because I have felt over this last 3 weeks, I've felt, I think, every emotion a person could possibly feel, I've felt. I've felt happiness, I've felt extreme sadness, I've felt anger, I've felt guilt, I've felt everything. I think one of the most important things when you're dealing with the grieving process and you're trying to pick up the pieces and move on with your life is to surround yourself with people who understand the process that you're going through, and understanding the emotional mood swings, and understanding that basis of where you're coming from. My friends, it sounds bad, like saying it out loud, but my friends gave me space during that time, meaning they knew I wanted to be alone, and so they let me. They let me have that time alone. They didn't text me, they didn't call me, they didn't ask that question, are you okay? When you're grieving, that is like the one question that you don't want, are you okay? Or how are you feeling? You just want to process everything. And so they were really good about giving me space. However, you don't want to stay in that personal, I guess, not self-pity, because it's not, but you don't want to stay holed up inside of yourself. You want to let that grief out, let it out, cry, scream, yell, do whatever you need to do, but don't hold it in. That is the worst thing you can do, is to hold it in, because one day it's all just going to come collapsing down on you and collapsing on top of you. And I stayed in my room for several days, and I cried, and I let it all out, and I just laid there and reminisced and thought about things, but I knew I had to continue living my life. I couldn't let grief consume me. I couldn't let it stop me, because that's not what my father would have wanted for me. He wouldn't want me to just give up on everything and to, think that there's nothing to live for. He'd want me to keep going, and so that's what I did. I picked myself up, I got out of that dark place that I was in, and I said, for him, I'm going to move on, and I'm going to live my life and do things that make me happy and find happiness again. I shut myself off for the time that I needed, and then I went back to living life. And people might say, well, that's not an easy thing to do. I know. Believe me, I know. It was not easy to get out of bed that first day and go back to school. It was not easy. I dreaded it. The whole night I stayed awake because I didn't want to go. I didn't want to force myself to go back. But I knew, I said, if I continue to wallow and to just be by myself and be alone and have dark thoughts, that I was never going to get out of it. I was never going to move on and be okay and have closure in my life if I didn't move on. And I think when you're dealing with grief, every single person on this earth grieves differently and feels different things when you lose somebody important to you. Yes, my father and I were estranged, But when he passed away, it's still losing my father. It's still losing a parent and a part of my life for the years that I did have with him. You know, I lost somebody who meant something to me, who was a parent. I think when you lose a parent, it's this unimaginable feeling, and you just feel like the world has just collapsed on top of you, and you don't know what to do. But I guess my whole point of this video is anybody who's going through loss, whether you lose a family member, a friend, you know, an animal, a pet, you know, whatever, whoever you're mourning, it gets better. It gets easier. You know, I still think about my dad every second of every day. He is a thought in my mind, and there's little things that I see in the world that remind me of him and who he was as a person, and I have a memory of him, and then I move on. Because you can't get lost in those thoughts again, you know. And I was so grateful that I had my mom, and my mom lost her father at a very young age as well. And, you know, my mother was younger than I was when she lost her dad, and we kind of shared that experience together, and she was there with me and by my side. And, you know that you're not alone in going through this, that there's other people out there who are gonna understand, you know, if not feeling the exact pain that you felt, because like I said, everybody grieves differently, but just feeling what, you know, feeling that same, like, I've experienced what you're going through. There's always someone out there to talk to. And I wanted to come back and make a video for you guys and tell you guys where I've been, number one, that I've been in a headspace completely different, and I've been, you know, swamped trying to get caught up again in school and trying to get back into my normal life routine. And also to kind of make a video to tell you guys that I needed to step away and do what I needed to do as a person and then move on. You know, my father passed away right before my birthday, and I just thought, how can I enjoy this day, you know, knowing that I'm never going to see him again? And my friends said to me, they said, your father, your dad would want you to celebrate and want you to be happy and want you to succeed. And I remember, I told myself I wasn't going to cry in this video, but when we were seeing my dad in the hospital right before he passed, as we were leaving, you know, one of the final things my mom said to him was, you're always with her. You're going to be with her when she graduates college. You're going to be with her when she gets married. You're going to be with her in her own children. You are always going to be a part of her life. And that is true. There's those people that you lose are always going to be a part of your life. But finding a way to move on without them is the most important thing you can do. And I know any man that I get into a relationship with, I'm gonna look at him and say, what good parts of my father, what amazing qualities of him does this guy have? And see parts of him in him, and know that someday when we have children, that, you know, a part of my dad will still be there, you know, and still kind of, he's my guardian angel. That's what I always say. He's my guardian angel, and he's watching me and guiding me and helping me. And remember that about the person that you love, is they're with you. You can feel them. There's times where I can feel my dad around me, and I can feel his presence and his light, and I know that he's there. And I can feel him in joy. I can feel him in sorrow. I can feel him in anger. I can feel him. And he's kind of always there telling me, you know, if I'm angry, hey, what reason do you have to be angry? If I'm happy, he's radiating with me. You know, it's whatever I'm feeling, I can feel him in certain situations. When I need him, he's there. And a lot of people might not, you know, agree with me. You know, you don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to believe in the Lord. I mean, granted, I am, and I do, but you don't have to be religious to feel that person around you, to feel their spirit and their energy and their light. So that's kind of this video that I wanted to make. It didn't have a real true point to it, other than to just kind of let you guys know that if you need to talk to somebody and that you're grieving, I'm here with you, I understand, and I'm going to be on this journey with you guys. And yeah, so I will talk to you guys soon, and thank you guys so much for listening and for all you do for me. Bye.